Hey yo, what's up everybody? Wuthering Waves is gearing up for 3.0. The faucets have turned and they're dripping everywhere. Ugh. That's right, you gotta get your fluids in.
That's true.
Today we're diving into the newest trailer, what it might mean, and some of the characters that have been slated for future patches. For 3.0, it looks like Wuthering Waves is returning back to its roots. We're getting back to the framework story from which Wuthering Waves was built. Because in 2.x, we got a lot of information on a lot of different things, and there definitely was story progression. But it felt like it was in a very specific area. Because if you remember back in 1.x, the story was centered around Jinzhou, but we were also constantly unraveling the mystery of who Rover actually is and what's happening to Solaris 3. Also some ancient civilization. In 3.x, it looks like we're getting back to this, discussing the origin of man.
Huh?
I mean the origin of mankind.
What? What?
Oh, I forgot. Because we barely know what a man is over here on Solaris 3. But hey, at least we got one male character slated down the road. But anyway, back to the point. During the latest trailer, we hear this phrase where the seed of civilization is buried. The phrase seed of civilization commonly refers to agriculture and how that revolutionized how mankind lives to this very day. Many scholars believe that it's this behavior that altered our social and communal trajectory, from hunters and gatherers to accountants, game designers, and college students. Because of this, we don't have to be outside foraging all day. This allowed us as a species to specialize. This person over here does this very well. That person over there does that very well. And we all get to do various different things outside of producing food. This act of relying on one another is the foundation of community and our civilization, thus seed of civilization. So if it's something that they consider the seed of civilization, you can bet it's pretty important. This implies that Laharoi holds some key significance to the world as a whole, as we know it. And another thing, during this trailer, we see the blueprints to an interesting looking place, but this place isn't nearly as interesting as the text that accompanies it. The words superimposed on the screen are Star Torch Academy, Exogenesis Labs. Now this is very interesting because the word exogenesis is used to convey a theory that life originated extraterrestrially, either in space or from another planet. Using the term exogenesis, wherever the life comes from, it means that its emergence hails from somewhere outside of the planet currently being discussed. This honestly explains a lot. Numerous times throughout the story, the Sentinels mention their return pods, with no further explanation. And Rover doesn't even question it. He's just like, yep, so what happened next? And I'm just like, nope. Sentinel such and such, I'm gonna need you to run that back and give me a full explanation in detail. But anyway, this visual of the words exogenesis adds context to the rest of the speech because the narrator continues saying, into space we gaze, bound by our desire to return. It's all slowly coming together, y'all. This explains their motivation to travel in space, to find out or return back to where they came from. Might it be possible that my simulation theory is correct and they're realizing that the world they're a part of isn't real? If you haven't seen that video yet, I'll leave a link in the cards and in the description. But anyway, then what we see looks like a space elevator and then a spaceship. My question is, are we actually going to space? Because like in Solaris 3, it's kind of high tech, right? They have holograms, they have computers that materialize in front of people out of nowhere. But at the same time, they're kind of low tech too. Like some people still make the trip to Renacita, but it's somewhat uncommon for people to go between Renacita and Jinzhou because of the wave-worn phenomena cloud that encircles the region. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't ever recall seeing any flying vehicles take off from anywhere. Maybe their space technology is just very localized. Maybe Laharoi just has all the airports and aerospace stuff. I mean, after all, Jinzhou is one of the newest regions of Huanglong, so maybe they just haven't developed that yet. And Renacita has been cut off from other nations, so maybe that might explain why they don't have that yet. I mean, we don't know. but I'm looking forward to finding out. Anyways, one thing that Laharoi doesn't have, and that's a sentinel. Or at least that's what we've been told from the most recent quest. For all we know, they could unknowingly have a slumbering sentinel beneath the entire academy. However, when I look at the screen here, it makes me feel like they might have created their own sentinel. And not in a worshipping the Thenodian type of way, but as in perhaps they created an artificial powerful being kind of way. I mean, the Fraxidus did say they created an artificial resonator. They've also funded research organizations in the past. Is it too far-fetched to think that they might try their hand at creating their own artificial sentinel? I don't know, man, but whatever it is, it looks pretty cool. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the characters. I don't think there was ever a time where the characters look so similar in design, and I don't mean that's a bad thing. I think what we're seeing here is an indication of their affiliation. What do I mean? So in 2.0 Drip, we had Brant, Phoebe, Carlotta, Zani, and Roshia. One was a top banking official, another was an employee, two were theater kids, and one was a clergywoman. Here, all of these characters are designed with white and black as their main primary color and one off accent color. Unlike previous casts of characters being from diverse professions and roles, I think they all have this color scheme because they are all a part of the same group. They're all a part of Star Torch Academy. That makes me wonder, is that the only main faction we'll come in contact with in the 3.x series? Of course, that's TBA, we'll find that out later. From a design standpoint though, I do think it's very commendable that they were able to make all these characters look similar while at the same time making them look different enough to be interesting. And so let's talk about some of these interesting characters with a little more detail. I think most of these characters are probably students, with the exception of a couple. It's obvious that Luke probably isn't a student. He's the only character here with the last name listed. He also has this interesting identification keycard. And I see some other characters with it too, but his looks a little bit different. And his posture is so upright and his hand is under his chin, giving off this impression that he is of high status or intelligence. And of course, the rest of the outfit with the DNA belt and the vials in his hand, all of this just reaffirms his intelligence. And I feel like that's what we can expect from him. Moving on to Lene. Now, I think Lene is a pretty interesting character too. And she has a key card as well, but hers looks a bit different from Luke's. She definitely does not give off instructor vibe. At the time of making this, it looks like they dropped some official info, confirming that she indeed is not a teacher, but a student, as expected. But the character I really want to talk about is Mornay. This character has a lot going on, and she definitely embodies this whole futuristic space age vibe. She's a professor at Star Torch Academy, and something about her design just tells me that she'll be quite a pivotal character when it comes to the plot of the upcoming patch. And we literally see her sitting atop one of those devices we saw in the special record trailer. Of course, there's some other characters too. Probably the least interesting character design-wise out of all of them is probably Lucille for me. Lucille just looks so bland to me. And the reason is because we already have this character. This is essentially Cantarella 2.0. She is the same. She has the same hairstyle. They didn't even change the color. It's a different tone, but it's pretty much the same color. It's purple. Cantarella has an umbrella that creates kind of a halo around her head when she holds it from the front view. This character has a hat. I mean, her design kind of reminds me of Yan Wu. It just doesn't have as much detail as some of these other characters. So I know a lot of people are hyped for this character. Her appeal is also the male gaze with these, giant mammary glands. And I don't think anything is wrong with that. Cantarella is one of my favorite characters, but at the same time, we already have Cantarella. Like, at least give me a different color of hair. I don't know, make her blonde, give her black hair, give her gray hair, give her magenta hair. Something to further differentiate her from the character she's most similar to. The other character is Sagrika. And this character, I feel like she's not my cup of tea, but I can see her being a character that is going to be very interesting, especially with the hair, because I think with that hair, they're going to add movement to all those various sections. And I think that's going to be really nice when it's all animated. But of course, my opinion of these characters could instantly change when we see them in game. I mean, Kuro Games has this reputation with Wuthering Waves to make the animation in game look way better than the 2D animation, which is somehow very impressive every time they do this. It's never not impressive. A lot of games struggle to do this, and the 2D artwork looks really cool, and the 3D animation looks very mid. So that is definitely something that is going for them, and hopefully going into 3.x, we see these characters and I'm amazed at every one when I actually see them in the game world. But anyways, I'm looking forward to figuring out what the term Sun Chaser is all about. And these are all the important things that I caught in the trailer and the character drip. Let me know what you guys found interesting in all of this in the comments down below. That is all I have for you guys today. And until next time, I'll catch you in the waves. Peace.